Today I look like Princess Diana, but if Princess Diana was addicted to meth. And I just feel like there's gotta be something redeeming about that, you know? I never really film these TBR stupid shits because honestly, I don't do that. I don't have a TBR. I don't need to have a TBR. I think it's really restricting. And I think that you guys need to free yourself from that. I feel like if you make TBRs, you hate yourself because it's like, how do you know? How can you plan that far in the future? And why? If this is for like leisurely fun reading, I don't know why you need to be planning all that shit. And there's people who like, y'all are buying like library carts and sticking them in your bedroom. And you're like, this is my TBR cart. It's like fucking full of calling Uber. All I've done so far is insult you, and I'm sorry. There's an eagle. I don't have my contacts in, so it could just be a crow. I have in the past tried to make like TBRs or whatever, but I'm very stubborn. I don't like being told what to do. You know, whenever people tell me to do something, I usually just do the opposite. Because fuck that. And my person is not an exception to that. So like in the past, a planner. No, I can't do planners. Because I see something on that thing that I wrote in there a few days ago and I say, no. No. And it's the same with TBRs. The second I say I want to read something, the second it goes on a fucking definitive list like this, I lost all interest. I will be reading anything else. Anything else. But I just thought, you know, it's December, there's ew. Is that a turd? Okay. There's snow on the ground, which is a lot of fun. But that means it's the end of the year. Or it means it's the beginning of the year. It's winter. And it does not make me want to kill myself at all. I'm really glad. But I thought that I would just go over a few books that I feel like have been on my radar. That I've been wanting to read for probably like the majority of the year. I'm not going to. I'm gonna read a whole bunch of other stuff, but I'm not gonna touch any of these books. The first one is a memoir. It's Educated by Tara Westover. I read The Glass Castle. I keep on mixing up that book with The Glass Hotel because I read them like at the exact same time. For some reason my brain is always like, hotel. Glass Castle I liked way more than The Glass Hotel. So why did that book title stamp a harder imprint onto my brain? But I've heard that this is very similar. I love The Glass I almost just said Cotel. But basically from my understanding, it is about Tara Westover, who grew up in like a survivalist family in the forest, which is so lit. But basically she grows up in this family in the forest, in the woods, and then when she's 17, I don't know if she gets like discovered. I don't know how deep in she was. They were very isolated from mainstream society. Oh, they're Mormons too. But basically, she's quite studious and uses the very small amount of resources that she does have to teach herself enough to get admitted into university. And that's the first time she experiences formal education, and it completely changes her life. The next one is the first one in a series. Last year, I was very surprised to find out that the majority of the books that I'd read was fantasy and sci-fi. I've never really felt like a fantasy sci-fi reader, except maybe in like middle school. But this year I decided to change that because I'm not a fucking nerd. So I've really avoided sci-fi and fantasy, but I kind of want to get back into it. Just this little, I've been missing it. So I have The Three-Body Problem by him, her, them. I've had this for the better part of the year. It's the first one in like a trilogy. It's called The Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy. I've only heard good things about this. I've only heard good things about like the whole series. I believe it's like space politics. I don't know, is there a synopsis around here? Dude, what the hell? Why don't they have a synopsis? Well, shit. There's no synopsis on this. And I'm not gonna grab my computer, so let's just make something up. From the first page, I gathered that it's set in China in 1967. The Red Union had been attacking the headquarters of the April 28th Brigade for 2 days. Their red flags fluttered restlessly around the brigade building like flames yearning for firewood. The Red Union commander was anxious, though not because, imagine I just read the whole book. I feel like I go to jail for that. Probably not, because I've listened to full books on YouTube from like little British girls just reading them out loud, which I think is kind of awesome. To sit there and read that much, I would be so embarrassed to do like a DIY audiobook, like not in a studio, just like in my bedroom. The mouth noises, the stuttering, never, could not be me. There's a few different families. The Ye family. Damn. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is about. It's got a great cover. The next one is Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. I love Toni, and I need to read more of her stuff. The only thing I've read by her was Beloved. I really want to reread that book. The first time I read it, I feel like I really did not appreciate it, but this one's got like a very funny, like, I'm very intrigued by this one. It's about Milkman Dead, I'm assuming that's a nickname, who was born shortly after a neighborhood eccentric hurled himself off a rooftop in a vain attempt at flight. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Do you want to know something fucking crazy? I was almost named after a bridge. That's it. But for the rest of Milkman's life, he too will be trying to fly. And that's all it really says. I assume it's like metaphorically flying. I don't think it's a whole book about him trying to kill himself, unless like this is like Howard Hughes, very literal, like he is the inventor of the plane, the blimp, the dirigible, I don't know. I've been wanting some like spooky vibes with the snow. So I have My Heart is a Chainsaw, which I believe is the first one in like a series. But this is about Jay Daniels, who is a hardcore 80s slasher fan and a high school senior. And you won't find a place less supportive of girls who wear torn t-shirts and too much eyeliner. With Proof Rock nestled 8,000 feet up the mountain. Oh wait, what? Oh, I thought Proof Rock was like an accessory. It's the town. And then I read nestled 8,000 feet up, and I said, where is this going? But Proof Rock is a town in Idaho, right alongside Indian Lake, home to both Camp Blood, site of a massacre 50 years ago, and as of this summer, Terra Nova, a second home celebrity Camelot being carved out of a national forest. Don't know what that means. That's not the only thing that's getting carved up though. What? Oh, carved as in like, isn't a slasher exactly what her hometown deserves? Okay, so it's about a girl named Jade who fucking despises her hometown, don't we all? A slasher shows up and starts slashing. The sling, sling and slash, I don't know. SpongeBob reference.
The sash ringing, the flash singing, the bash pinging, the hash slinging slasher.
I think I'll like this. The next one is another sci-fi that I've been wanting to read for a while. It's only 200 pages. It is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is like, I feel like kind of quintessential classic sci-fi. It is the inspiration for the Blade Runner films, but I think this literally is just Blade Runner. Like, I've heard that the author sold the rights to some big studio and then they wouldn't release it with this title. I mean, I get it. This was originally published in 1968, so it's set in 2021, which is a scary thought because that was last year. And it's almost 2023. But basically, this company, it's like Elon Musk, I feel like. Did y'all hear that he killed 3,000 monkeys because of his Neuralinks? 3,000 monkeys have died because he wants to put Facebook in our brains. Why are we still letting this man breathe? There's like a war, and then this war spawns, or I think that they created these androids, which are like realistic human being robots, to fight. That might be totally wrong. Basically, these androids end up going rogue, and then the main character, he's like, what's his name?
The big bad dog, the bounty hunter.
His job is to go and kill these androids, and that's what he does. I think he falls in love with one of them though. The next one is James Baldwin, Go Tell It on the Mountain. This, very similar to Toni Morrison, iconic author that I haven't read enough from. And the one that I did read, Giovanni's Room, I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. So I want to reread it, just not yet. But Go Tell It on the Mountain is one of his other fiction books. It is about a 14-year-old boy's discovery on Saturday in March 1935 of the terms of his identity as the stepson of the minister of a storefront Pentecostal church in Harlem. Period. And then the last one is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. He wrote The Kite Runner, which I read a few months ago, a while ago, and I really liked it. I actually, when I was reading The Kite Runner, I thought that it was a series for some reason. Like, I thought that this was the second one in the Kite Runner series, but then The Kite Runner ended, and I was like, that cliffhanger was shit. And then I found out that this is like a fully different book. There is no synopsis again. But it's about Miriam, who's a 15-year-old girl, and she is sent to Kabul to marry the troubled and bitter Rashid. Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan. And Rashid is 30 years her senior. But nearly 2 decades later, in a climate of growing unrest, tragedy strikes 15-year-old Layla, who must leave her home and join Miriam's unhappy household. Layla and Miriam are to find consolation in each other, their friendship to grow as deep as the bond between sisters, as strong as the ties between mother and daughter. So I think it's quite similar to The Kite Runner, where it's like condemning the Taliban, and I'm very interested to read that. What can I say? So yeah, those are some books that I hope to get to before the end of this month. I'm not going to. I'm not gonna fuck. Let's act. We're acting now. I'm gonna read these books this month. Oh yeah. I'm watching Wednesday right now because I don't know, I don't want to miss out. And Jenna Ortega is slaying, but everybody else learned acting from the TikTok.com conservatory. It's so much like everything is so over exaggerated. Bye.